everyone, it's Rachel from Desert Blossom Crafts back with a new crochet tutorial. Today I'm going to be showing you how to crochet the Exploration Beach Bag. This bag uses the waistcoat stitch and a thick, sturdy yarn. It is the most sturdy bag I've ever crocheted. I've been using it as my actual purse. I have like a ton of stuff in here right now. And I've done a lot of short videos on it as well. I tested it using a 5-pound weight and it held up really great. I'll put the link to that video down below if you want to check it out. But needless to say, this is my new favorite crochet bag and I can't wait to share the pattern with you, so let's get right into it. So for materials, you're going to need some Wool Ease Thick and Quick yarn. This is a gray color I'm using for this tutorial. I believe I used the color Oatmeal in the actual bag. While you could sub a different bulky weight yarn, I do really recommend this one just because it's very sturdy and it makes the bag hold up really well. So I'll put the link to this yarn in the description. And then you'll also need an M or 9mm crochet hook. And that's it. There's no lining needed for this bag. You'll just need these materials along with a yarn needle. So to get started, you're just going to make a chain of 40. I've done 37 and I'm just going to finish it off with 3 more. And we're going to join into a round with this chain and we're going to be really careful not to twist it. So I'm going to come over here to the beginning. I'm straightening this out, making sure we're not twisting it, and then going in this first chain and slip stitching. So yarn over, pull through, and pull through the first loop. And to make sure it's not twisted, you can just lay it out. If it was twisted, it would be showing the back bumps at some point, and like this. So for round 1, we're going to chain 1. This is not going to count as a stitch, so you can kind of tighten it. And then we're going to start by single crocheting in the same exact stitch as our slip stitch, so right here. And we're just going to single crochet in every chain around. Just go in the top loop of that chain, like so. And I will meet you back when I get to the end of this round. And I've been going all the way around and I just have 1 stitch left right here. So I'm going to single crochet. And one other note, you want to make sure you're not doing these too tight because we are going to be working in the waistcoat stitch, which works in the center of the stitches. So you can see this stitch right here is the slip stitch, and because we single crocheted right here at the beginning, we're not going to work in that slip stitch. Next time I would probably tighten this so it's a little less obvious there. But for now I'm just going to slip stitch in the top of that first single crochet. And once again, this time I'm going to pull it tight because we're never going to work in that slip stitch. So now it's time to start our waistcoat stitches. So I'm going to chain 1, pull that tight, and we're going to go in the middle of the very first stitch here, which is the same stitch that we worked our slip stitch into. So here's the top of the stitch and here's the 2 vertical bars, 1, 2. We're going to go in between the 2 vertical bars. And this is why it's important that you don't work too tight. Okay, and I'm just single crocheting like normal. I'm going to do this for another 8 stitches. So right here. Again, here's the 2 vertical bars, going right in between them. There we go. And this is where you don't want to be tight with this loop. So if I were to pull this super tight and then go like that, this is going to be very hard to work into. So the important part that's loose is that you pull up this stitch or this loop so that it's not too tight right here. And that's going to make it much easier to work into. And also, this is hardest on the very first row around. In the next rounds, it will be easier. It's just because we're kind of getting set up on this first one. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We need a total of 9, so 4 more. All right, so I've done 9 regular waistcoat stitches, and next we're going to do an increase because the bottom of the bag starts a little smaller and we kind of work our way up a little bit. So in this next stitch, we're going to do a regular waistcoat stitch, 1, And then I just like to hold my finger there so I can see the space. And I'm just going to go back into it with an increase. There we have it. And this is our round repeat. So we're just going to keep doing 9 regular waistcoat stitches and then 1 increase all the way around, and you'll end on an increase since we started with just regular stitches. So here is our round, and for the last single crochet we have the increase, so I'll just show you how to do that one more time. We're working in between those bars, pulling up, and you can see it's right in the center there. 1, and then go back in the same space. And make our increase. And to finish, like usual, we're just going to slip stitch and pull that tight. Round 3 is going to be very similar. The increase pattern is just going to be a bit different. So chain 1, make 3 waistcoat stitches, again working into that first one that's the same as the slip stitch first. 2 and 3. And now we're going to increase right away. And that's because we don't want our increases to line up with the exact same spot they were last time. There's 1 and 2. So now we're going to do 10 waistcoat stitches, 1 increase, and we're going to repeat that. And at the end, we're going to have 6 extra waistcoat stitches to do. So when I get to here, I'm going to be working in my increases. That's totally normal. We're just doing the same exact thing as a normal waistcoat stitch. It'll just feel a tiny bit different because they're so close together. So let's see, we have 3, 6, 7, 8, so 2 more. And now we have another increase to do. So 1 stitch and 2nd stitch. So repeat that around 10 waistcoat stitches, 1 increase, and at the end we'll end with 6 waistcoat stitches. I'm about done. I accidentally misspoke at the beginning of this round. We're actually supposed to do 4 at the beginning, 1 in the same stitch, slip stitch, and then 3 regular waistcoat stitches. So my first increase should have been here, which means I should have 6 at the end, but I actually have 7 because I started wrong. So I'll make sure to correct that in text, but just a quick explanation of why that happened. I read the pattern wrong. But when you get to the end, like normal, you're just going to join chain 1, and now it is smooth sailing. We have gotten to the point in the bag where we're at the size we need it to be, and we're just going to start doing waistcoat stitches all the way around. So I'm going to work in the first one, the next one, and all the way around. And you can basically do this one round until the bag is your desired size. So if your tension is different than mine, you don't have to follow the pattern perfectly. The pattern says to do 31 rounds total, but you can totally adjust that if you want the size to be a little bit different. Which, by the way, if you want the pattern, the written pattern to follow along with this, make sure to check it out in the description. There's a free blog version as well as a PDF in my shops. So again, same exact thing. And I do want to show you something. This stitch, I accidentally went in slightly the wrong spot for the waistcoat. You can see it's kind of up a little too high. It should be right in the center. So I'm going to take that out and make sure I get right in the center of the stitch. There we go. So just keep doing the waistcoat stitch all the way around for 31 rounds, and then you can do the straps. Okay, so I finished the previous round I was recording, and then I added one more round, and I'm not going to do the full 31 rounds because I'm not actually going to make a whole second bag. So it's the same exact concept whether you do the straps now or you do the straps with the entire bag. So I'm going to show you how to do the straps, and we're just going to do one strap. They're almost identical. There's just a few differences in making them. So I'll kind of explain the differences as I go along, showing you just the one strap. So to start, for the first strap, you're not going to fasten off. you're just gonna slip stitch in 5 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the slip stitch right here, the joining one from your last round, not these 5, it should basically be right lined up with the 5, right to the left of the center of the bag. So the center of the bag should be this stitch here, as in where the bag folds, right here. And then this joining slip stitch should be right to the left, so it should look like you have 6 slip stitches right here. Now we're going to start the strap, and we want this to be very, very sturdy and strong. So we're not just going to do waistcoat stitches, we're actually going to be working in the tops of the stitches, but from the row below. So to do this, we've just worked a slip stitch in this stitch, so we're going to be working in the bottom of this next stitch. So here's the stitch we want, and we're going to work below it. So right here. I'm going to insert my hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, and you can pull these up pretty loosely. 1. Okay, now we're going to work right here. So this is the next stitch from the row below. Insert, yarn over, pull up, single crochet. And one more time right here. So again, this is the tops of the stitches from the row below. So this is that stitch from below, and this is the top of it right here. You can see that V a little bit. Insert, yarn over, pull up, and complete, okay? So for the second strap, this is going to be the same process, except you'll have cut the yarn and you'll be joining for the first time with this single crochet rather than having a slip stitch on the side of it. Right, now for the strap, you're just going to chain 1 and turn, and we're going to be working over these 3 stitches. So again, we're going to be single crocheting in the stitch from the row below. For this one, it's going to be these stitches right here. Now if I hold this and I turn it around, it's not going to be this one, it's going to be the one right next to it, so right here. I'm going to insert, pull up, okay, and there's 1. This first one is the hardest. After this, it gets a bit easier. And now we're going to go right here next. And finally, we can always turn it around and kind of look at where we are right here. Okay. Turn it around. And the first stitch is going to be this one. 1. Here's the next one. 2. And the last one, 3. So this takes a little bit of practice to get used to it, because it's just, there's so many loops going every which way. So let's chain 1 and turn, and I'll show you one more time. So again, we're not working in these tops of the stitches. We're not working in between the vertical bars anymore. We're working in the tops of the stitch from the row below. Not going to be the same stitch we worked in here, right? Because this is the row below our current one. But we want to go about right here. So here's the stitch, and here's the top of it. Right here. So not in the center, but right on the side in those top loops. So see right there. 1. And then here's the next stitch right here. And here's the top. Insert. There we go. And the last one, it's kind of this stitch right here, but the top of the stitch is always going to be a little bit to the right. So it's going to be right here. All right. And this is a very thick, sturdy fabric. So we're just going to keep doing this until the strap is basically the size that you want it to be. I did a total of 40 rows. You just need to make sure you end on an even row and you'll be good. So I'll meet you back when my strap is a bit bigger and we will attach it to the other side. Okay, so here's my strap. I've done 25 rows. as the text mentioned earlier, it's actually an odd number that you have to have for this strap. And you can know that you have the right number because if you pull the strap down, there's going to be 6 stitches in between the two sides. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're going to be here. The working end of the yarn should be on this side of the strap when it's not twisted. So if you have to twist it to get the working yarn to be right here, then you're not on the right row. You need to make sure you have an odd row. And it can be a little bit tricky to count these rows. So if you're unsure, just make sure that, like I said, the working yarn is right here. So now I'm ready to make it. So I'm going to, it's gonna, bear with me here. So we're gonna actually turn this around and we're gonna start by making a single crochet like we would for the strap, so in the top of the stitch from the row below. Now, we're going to find that 7th stitch, so 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, and we're going to work in the base of it, so right below it, right like that. I've inserted, I'm going to yarn over, pull through both thicknesses, and single crochet. I'm going to go in the next stitch from the strap like normal. Then I'm going to go in the next base of the next stitch right here. Again, single crochet. And one more time, strap, base of the next stitch for the bag, and single crochet. Now, you'll know that you've done this right if when you turn it right side out, the seam is not on the right side, the seam is on the back side. So you can see it's very bulky. And it's not twisted. So if that is all correct, then your strap is done. You can just fasten off. And then I do recommend doing a few like extra sewing stitches right here just to make sure the strap is fully tacked down. But these 3 stitches will really hold it sturdily in place. So that is the first strap. For the second strap, you're going to basically turn this over and you're going to want the other strap to match perfectly with this strap. Again, making sure that this slip stitches, these 6 slip stitches are on the side and then the corner stitch is correct. And the written pattern has all the instructions for this, like how many stitches to skip and all that. But if you want to eyeball it, you can also do that and just make sure everything is lined up nicely with the other strap. You'll just be fastening off and joining in this stitch with the slip stitch to make the start of your strap, then going all the way around. So I did just a few rows of a second strap, and it's just the exact same thing. Just do the same rows. So 41 or however many you'd like, and then you'll be at the right spot here. I'm missing a stitch, but you'll be at the right spot here to do your joining row. Same exact thing where you'll turn, insert here, line it up, and then once you're done, it'll come out perfectly without being twisted. After that, the only finishing you have to do is join the bottom of the bag together, obviously. And to do this, I just do a row of slip stitches across. You could also sew it, but the slip stitches give it a nice seam. So that is all there is to it. I hope you enjoyed the Exploration Beach Bag pattern. Make sure to check out the written pattern below and subscribe for lots more crochet patterns and tutorials. Thanks for watching. Bye.